with your story and my story, this game is all about wanting it, all about like what you put into it is what you get out of it. And you can tell who actually wants it. You can tell who want to do this. And when people show up and they want to do it, I don't mind teaching.
Man, dude, Kelton is on it today. Fucking on it. This is where we celebrate the unsung heroes, the champions behind the screens who make the magic happen. Every other week, we kick back, grab a beer, and sit down with some of the most distinguished professionals in the industry, giving you a new appreciation for the media you enjoy. This is the Behind the Broadcast podcast. And that day has finally come. But first, before we get into things, I want to give a special shout out to Game On Sports Network here in Dallas. They were very generous and offered their studio to us. They've been super helpful in getting this all ready. So thank you, Trevor, at Game On. And let's get into this. So without further ado, I have a Navy veteran and Dallas native, worked in TV production since 2009. He's worked 5 Super Bowls, 3 NBA Finals, 1 World Series, 1 Stanley Cup, a few national championships, Final Fours, studio shows, etc. Started as game day only utility to now working as a camera operator, fiber tech, and being one of the best V3s in the business. He is one of the hardest workers I know. Kelton Robison, everybody.
What's up, man? What's going on, Parker?
Hey.
Thanks for having me, big dog. Appreciate it, man. Much love, boss.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for helping this dream become reality.
Absolutely.
It's crazy, dude. You've been there with me since the Sports with No Fans days.
Since the Sports with No Fans days. Just in case they thought it wasn't real,
That's
right?
a real one right there. One of the first guys to ever have the Sports with No Fans hat. But before we jump into your story and everything, let's talk about where you just came from.
Oh man, we just came from national championship, dog. It was love, man. That was probably one of my in this realm, in the V3 realm, that was kind of my first experience. So it was a big game.
Yeah.
But man, it was amazing, dog, and actually being there for the game, seeing what was going on, being a part of the behind the scenes, and just knowing that, I had a part in that, bro. It was dope.
Yeah, so tell me exactly what you were doing out there. Who were you working for?
So I worked for the game crew, so I did a lot on the game side. We were actually on the field, running the cables and camera stuff for the actual game production. Most of the on-game shots you saw came from us. So we've been there. We were there for like a week before the game, getting stuff started, and got to Monday and got it going, man.
Dang.
Hopefully we'll win something for that, man.
Dude,
we'll see.
It was an awesome broadcast. It was
Appreciate
huge.
it
was a mega cast.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of, I actually have some notes about that.
Oh, snaps.
That
Here we
game.
go.
So in your game, there was 87 game cameras.
Yes, sir.
75 transmission paths, 18 miles of additional cable run through that arena, which
Yes, sir.
you probably had a big part of.
Absolutely.
9 trucks and 5 different aerial cameras.
Yes, sir. It was amazing.
So, yeah, dude.
Now, just a production of that magnitude. I mean, we do sports production all the time, and we see, like the 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 camera shows. But to see one that big, dog, it was amazing. And to see it all come together, the production team was absolutely awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I've worked a couple big shows in my life, but it just – there's nothing like it.
Right, absolutely.
There's really nothing like it, man. When there's all these people and crews and different shows and they're all coming together, it's amazing how everything just ends up working out.
Right, absolutely. You pull up and it's a blank field, then you're there for a couple of days, and then before you know it, there's 70, 80,000 people in there watching you do your job.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, so, we've met maybe like 3 years ago, I want to say. We were working Dallas Mavericks
game. Yes, sir.
Mavericks game, and we were both V3s on the show. And then I got to talking to you, and I was like, man, this dude's really cool. I want to know a little bit more about this guy. He's a hard-ass worker.
Facts.
Hard-ass worker.
Yes, sir.
And then you kind of started telling me something about being a Marine or...
I was in the Navy.
Okay.
In the Navy. Right. Navy. Hoo-yah.
All right. So going with the Navy stuff, man, like take me back. Paint me a picture of what it was like working in the Navy.
So I was an 18-year-old kid. Well, I'll take you back to when I first actually got recruited. I was a 17-year-old kid, and I was on my way to work. And a guy pulled up next to me in a little white car, and he rolled the window down and said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I was kind of freaked out at first because nobody ever pulls up on a young black kid, just wanted to talk to him. So I was kind of freaked out, but I was like, yeah. He pulled over. He got out the car. He's like, "Have you ever thought about joining the Navy?" I was like, "Nah, but what's up?" He started talking to me about the benefits. And at that time, I didn't really know anything about the Navy or going into the service. So he made it sound good. He started talking money. So fast forward a couple of months, he was like, "Man, I want to meet you." He came to school, met me, met my parents. He came to a couple of football games when I was in high school football, and he really kind of like brought me under his wing, like as a little brother type deal. And as the time progressed, I started to get more and more interested. It started to seem more and more interesting to me.
Okay.
And then he sprung the submarine things on me. He was like, "Hey, they offer more money if you want to go on submarines, if you'll work on a submarine, if you're not too scared or claustrophobic." And I didn't even know what he meant by that at first.
Yeah, before you go any further, dude, any idea of me going on a submarine at longer than an hour,
Dog.
I'm freaking out.
But you flying planes every week. It's like being in an airplane with no windows.
That's true. Airplane with no windows. Yeah, at least I can feel like I'm in the sky flying or something, or I know
The crazy part about it feels exactly the same. Like the same way you feel when you take off, you hit a little turbulence, you hit that sheet of glass flying or wherever you're going. It feels the exact same way when you're in the water. It's a little shaky when you first get down. Once you hit a certain depth, it's like a sheet of glass.
Bro, that is so wild. So anyway, so take me being a submarine and a Navy guy in a submarine.
All right, so being on a submarine is crazy because in a normal capacity, the normal day is 24 hours. Well, when you're on a submarine, you work on 18-hour time schedule. So it's every 6 hours, you're either changing your job or you're going to do something else. So it was a lot. It took me. I was a young punk back then, so it took me from being a young punk to having to grow up, stand on my own, really learn about what it meant to be a part of a team. Everybody has a job, everybody has something to do. So I learned a lot, and I was able to learn a lot about me. I was away from my family. I didn't really have day-to-day contact with my family, so kind of leaning on the people that I was out there with, leaning on those resources. It was a big deal, but it helped me grow up, and it kind of prepared me for whatever was going to be life after the military.
Yeah, I can only imagine the lessons you learn.
Oh, man.
Being in the military, one, and number two, just being on a submarine.
Absolutely.
So how long would you be underwater for?
The longest we've been underwater or on a mission was 96 days.
96
And in those
days.
96 days, we didn't do any type of ports. We didn't, we might have come up to do little stuff, but there was no getting off the boat or anything like that. So yeah, 96 days.
Wow. Yeah. And so, do you have cell service? Like, do you?
Nah, man,
Are you talking to your girl? You call it she send you pics at night?
No, it's not like the movies, man. It's pretty covert, man. I remember one year, my first deployment, I was getting Christmas and New Year's messages after Valentine's Day type deal. So the communication with the outside world is minimal whenever you're doing something. Of course, you have ways to contact your battle groups and whoever else you're out there with as far as other vessels. But as far as having contact with the outside world, man, that's slim to none. And when you do get it, you get so excited about it, But they keep it pretty interesting, man. They try not to keep us out there too long. We build a bond with the guys that are there, so it's like a family. But it is what it is. It's just like a job.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I kind of remember you explaining this to me, but I think you said you started as a cook.
Yes, sir. I did. I was in the kitchen, man. That's shout out to my CSs. My MSs transferred over to CSs, man. Shout out to my guys in the galley, man. Love y'all boys, man. But yeah, man, that was my job, man. That's what I did, man. I went in that thing to cook. I wasn't really sold on necessarily what I wanted to do in the military or what I wanted to do after life.
Yeah.
I felt like that was an easy road, but it didn't turn out to be an easy road. I cooked. I turned into the damage control petty officer. I did a lot of stuff. So, and then on there, everybody has a dual capacity, You never have just one job working on the submarine. So,
right. Yeah, and that's kind of like a little bit. I can relate that to kind of like TV and
Absolutely.
Your career in TV as well, because you said you were a cook, and then all of a sudden you weren't a cook. You were doing these bigger...
Doing everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yes,
because that's just who you are, man. You are a very talented,
Appreciate that, brother.
Smart individual.
Appreciate that.
And someone gives you a task and you figure it out and you do it. And,
absolutely. I try to, man.
That's why you've become so successful in broadcast.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
But also, in the Navy as well.
Yeah.
So... that was the previous life. Kind of walk me through how broadcast came into your life, dude.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's completely opposite.
Bro, I got lucky. So I got some cousins. Shout out to Brian and Brandon, man. Love y'all boys, man.
I know Brian.
You know
and
Brian and Brandon, absolutely, man. They were doing this.
Those were the guys that got you.
Those are the guys that got me into this.
No way.
Yeah, they were doing this actually before I was. They called me one day like, hey, you doing anything, man? Somebody called in. It was actually an SMU football game. They're like, somebody called in. We need somebody to come in and help us. At that time, I think it paid like $150, $200 a day. And I'm like, all right, bet. I'll go do it. It was just one day. Just started networking, talking to people. Hey, man, is this what y'all do all the time? Like, okay, I'm free next weekend, you know?
Yeah.
The next weekend, it was another SMU game. Start networking, talking to the video guys, the guys that were actually traveling. Like, okay, this is y'all job. Like, how do I fit in? Where do I go? You know what I'm saying?
How
and
you do
then
it.
just networking, man, working my butt off. And then one thing led to another. I started getting opportunities. Like I mentioned, Brian and Brandon, dog, we would, the three of us would drive like to Austin. From here in Dallas, we would drive to, Louisiana, Oklahoma. If we had to drive to Houston, we would all book ourselves on that gig and drive down together. Like it was a grind, man, for real.
That's how you make it, man. I have a very similar story. Whether I didn't have family that brought me into TV, but I got one opportunity as a runner.
Yep.
And I went and worked. It was a Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California.
In California.
Yep. And so I worked that, and I was like, man, I think I could do this again.
Right.
And they liked me, and so then I got another job. It led to another job, and I think it was like a Niners Monday night game. And then I, like you, I kind of like built like a little friend group of California kids.
Network.
And those dudes were Glenn Ample. I don't know if you
I know Glenn.
And
I know
Rich
Glenn.
Bjork is.
I don't think I know Rich. I might have worked with him.
Bonus
Oh, yeah. I know
his
Rich.
dad's a video
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And so, dude, like, Rich kind of took me on, but me and Glenn were just like these brand new kids in TV. And it was like, all right, guys, we got a game in San Francisco this week at Cal Berkeley.
Right.
We live in LA, but hey, let's
do it together, man.
Yeah, hey, let's all rent a hotel together.
Absolutely.
Let's get in a car and let's
the
go
cost.
up there.
Yes, sir.
We did that for our very first ever bowl game I worked was the Las Vegas Bowl.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and we got an opportunity to go from LA to Las Vegas because it was awesome, man.
It's a hustle, man. It's a hustle.
And we were working for Ming.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were working for Ming, and us three became like Ming's like first calls.
Right. And that's kind of the same thing with me, Brian and Brandon here in Dallas. Like we were on it. We were trying to do everything.
Yeah.
Like if it was anywhere within driving distance, bro, we were going.
We were
going. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's kind of when people ask me like, how do I get in the industry? It's like, dude, you hustle, you get a connection, you hustle, you perform at those connections, and then you just kind of try and keep that momentum.
Right.
And you take every opportunity.
Opportunity you can get, man. And don't ever stop learning, man. One thing I always talk to people about is I pride myself in being a student of the game. Like there's so much about TV that I don't know. There's always something new coming out. There's always some new technology. There's always some new way to do something. You know what I mean? It's always ever evolving. So I pride myself in trying to know a little bit about everything and trying to continue to make myself relevant and continue to know these nuances that come in, continue to learn different things about video, different cameras, and different things about audio. I mean, you got to grow with the game. So I pride myself in that. And that's probably why, again, like yourself, we've been successful. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. It's that mentality. It's that just go after it and get it. So, you're talking about kind of how you got into the industry.
Right.
What exactly do you do? What were you doing when you got in? You said utility. You want to go into depth on what a utility is for the people that don't know?
Right. So basically, the utility is pretty much like your stagehands for concerts. Most of the time, they're local guys. They come in and they help us do all of the cable runnings. They help us unload the production trucks with all of the cameras, all of the equipment that we'll be using to set up the field, set up the TV booths, different stuff like that. They actually help us get the cables ran. You'll typically have somebody on the show that does the patching, the connections, or should I say?
Yeah.
So that's where I started, man. Carrying cases, rolling cable. The utilities are actually the guys behind if you ever catch a glimpse of on the sidelines, you see the handheld camera guy.
Yeah.
You see those guys behind them wrangling cable,
wrapping.
Whipping that thing. That's what we do. But
hey, you can tell the ones that know how to wrangle cable and the ones that can't.
Hey, man, I consider myself one of the best in the business. You hear me?
Hey,
put it on.
We got to put that to the test one day. I want to. Side note, I want to do a utilities game.
Hey, we'll do it.
There's a lot of people that say they're real good at cabling. I think I'm pretty good too, but I know there's a lot of others that are.
Absolutely.
that are that good.
Yeah. Shout out to the utilities, man, that are still doing big things, man, being good, man. We love y'all, bro.
Heck yeah, man.
Absolutely.
And utility is, I mean, it's a great place to start, but it's also a great place to finish.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no, if you're a utility, that's totally cool. Like, there's no need to feel like you need to go and do more.
Right.
You know what I mean? If a utility is paying your bills and you're getting work, then
absolutely,
that's totally cool.
Now, people get it. People use the word utility and they think that just means like you're just a tool, and that's not the case, man. As a utility, you can be used in many different facets of television, and they're always needed. Like, there's not one show that I've been on that didn't have utilities, but there's been shows I've been on that didn't have this particular video guy, this particular type of camera guy, but there's never been a show I've been on that didn't have a utility. So in TV production, that's needed, man. I think if more guys took that serious, understood that was a needed part of TV, man, then you get some great TV.
Yeah, and hopefully, man, through my platform and things like that, we can start getting those utilities paid a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Because I think sometimes that's kind of what deters us from wanting to continue being a utility,
right,
is just that pay.
Right.
And this guy named Brandon Burnworth, I don't know if you know who he is. He's out of LA. Okay. Was it Brandon? No, it was someone else. It was his buddy. Oh man, I can't think of his name right now. I can picture him perfectly. You know who I'm talking about if you're watching this.
Right. Shout out.
But he sent me a video, and I want to post it. But it was this utility, and he was at a Warriors game, and dude, it was a mess.
Right.
Like it was in between commercial breaks or something, and the camera op, walked over to the bench to go shoot Warriors,
inside the hood.
Yeah, on the bench, and dude, there's this rat's nest of cables all on the court.
Oh man, you hate to see it.
And my friend, who I can't remember his name, God, it's so fucking annoying.
Good friend.
Sorry.
Shout out to the sponsor, man, when we get one.
Yeah, thank you for the beer. He's kind of up in the stands filming, and it's just it looks awful, man. And he texted me, he's like, dude, it's things like this that piss me off when like people are getting hired for these big jobs and they're not qualified.
Right.
And it's because that pay.
Right.
And it's because a lot of the good people aren't going to work for, that smaller rate. And so hopefully, we can try and change that, because it was so bad, man, that like the cable was on the court, and after that commercial break, the cameraman never came back out.
Right.
Probably the
director was like, it's not worth it.
Exactly.
But bro, one of the things I think people have to realize once you jump in this game, like nobody starts at the top. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
People want to come in and start making, $40, $50, $60 an hour, but there's a natural progression in television. You know what I mean?
Completely, yeah.
Just like with any other job. You don't go into the job making as much as the boss. You go into the job making whatever that entry level is. But what you do is once you get in that job at that entry level, you be the best that you can at that particular position. Like for me, when I was a utility dog, I always made it my business. I was going to work harder than everybody. I didn't care who you were. I didn't care what time you showed up. I didn't care what you did. When I came on the scene, I was going to outwork everybody there. And if I couldn't outwork them, the next day when we came to work, I was going to show up 30 minutes earlier so that I can do more work, that I can be, you know what I mean? Like I had a mindset that I was never going to let anybody outwork me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once you have that mindset, it don't matter if you're at the lowest part of the totem pole or at the highest part. If you continually have that mindset, dog, everything else, the check gonna come. Like the money is in TV. It'll come. Just do the work. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I did the work, and here we are.
Exactly, man. Shoot, well, that's kind of brings me to my next question.
Oh, snaps. Here we go with the questions.
Oh, man. So, what is like your favorite event or sport to work? Do you like big shows, small shows? What's that like?
So, I'm kind of privy to the studio shows now, man. I've worked a lot. I've worked a lot of the studio shows, man, and I've kind of grown a family network with those people, with the people that I work with at the network. So it's kind of like a home feeling whenever I do those shows. But I definitely love network shows. I mean, I'm a sports fan, man, so you really can't miss me on any of it. But my favorite event thus far, I would have to say, was my very first NBA Finals. And my very first NBA Finals, I think it was 21 in Phoenix.
Okay, yeah.
I was a runner at the time. They actually flew me out and let me be a runner at the time.
Man.
Yeah.
You take what you can get.
Take what you can get, man. But I built so many connections and I built so many relationships with different people that were there, dog. Like from that, that one event, my career blossomed. Like I was able to do more and more stuff after that. More and more people were calling like, hey, if you're available, we want to get you on this, dog. It was just like I think that particular event is what springboarded my career. I was in front of more people than what I normally would have been in front of. More people were able to see my work ethic, were able to see how easy I was to work with. And I think that transpired, like being there for like 12, 14 days, however many weeks we were there. It transpired, and then one thing rolled over into another, boss. That's just how it went.
Yo, that yours and I's story is very similar, because I'm glad you said, you used the exact words I was going to ask you. Is there a show that springboarded your career?
That's the one.
And that's hilarious, because mine comes at like Super Bowl 50 in San Francisco.
In San Francisco.
I took an opportunity as a runner, and so I'm a runner for CBS Sports Network, right? And I was getting a little bit of utility work at the time, but it was mostly runner work. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to be a runner. So I go do this runner job and knock it out of the park. I actually become kind of like a help utility on the show.
That's what's up.
Dude, like 2 months later, the same studio show was doing the Final Four in Houston.
Facts. Righteous.
And guess what? They hired me as a utility.
Dude.
Bro,
All it took was one time.
So I come in as like this, like, and they said, you can come, but you have to travel yourself.
Right.
Like, all right, perfect. Any opportunity I'll take. So I travel myself to Houston, and I'm just like a normal utility. I'm not like a higher utility or like a V3 or anything. You know, I'm just a utility. And then guess what, bro? By the end of that show, they're like, we want you as our main utility. We're going to take you to every Super Bowl and every Final Four that you want to go to.
All it took is one opportunity, dog.
One opportunity, bro. And in a couple weeks from now, guess what? I'm like one of the lead. I am the lead utility V3 fiber, whatever, for like all the CBS Super Bowl shows that are happening.
There you go.
Like on the Bellagio fountain.
That's what's up.
So I'm not in the arena, but
I'll be there. I'll be there as well. I'm actually gonna be doing the show for the network over there at Mandalay. So
are you doing First Take?
Nah, we're doing Pat McAfee.
Bro, Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Bro, talk about someone that's just changing the game.
But dog, like that's literally what we look for in digital media, right? Like we want to be able to break the molds of what media was before. Like we had a conversation about this at Mavericks game a long time ago. Like what media used to be is transcending so much, and it's moving to so many different platforms. It's just amazing to see somebody like with his following or with his, you know what I'm saying, backing to bring the podcast into the forefront just like other people have. But it's so amazing to see that it's coming out the way it is, and it makes for stuff like this, dog. And it's
bro, the guy is living the dream.
Absolutely.
I mean, he goes to every big sporting event, which is that's a lot of travel, but
him and his boys.
Beyond that, he's with his boys.
Yeah.
He's basically Wayne's World in his garage,
absolutely.
You know, during the weekdays, doing his own show through, you know, at his, this place he calls the Thunderdome.
Right.
Which is,
relaxing, kicking it.
Bro, and it's just PTZ camera.
No.
Have you seen the setup of that show? It's literally just PTZ cameras.
And that's literally what the world is coming to, dog. Like, if you look at if you look at a lot of these broadcast shows, dog, it's again, that's why I talk so much about like growing with the times and actually like being a student of the game, because there's a lot of people that might sit behind the camera and that's all they know how to do. They don't understand how to work PTZ, so they don't understand how to do anything outside of that. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So if I could say anything like to utilities or anybody local coming up, man, like don't look at that utility job as your end job. Like think about what you want to do in TV and think about this as being the first step in that ladder. Like nobody jumps on the ladder at the top rung. Everybody starts at the bottom and climbs their way up. And the utility way, like from your story and my story, so it's a perfect way to get in and make it big.
Yeah, and to go along with that, man, you got to earn the respect.
Absolutely.
It's a respect thing, man. There's a lot of veterans in our industry that they've been doing it for 30, 40 years.
Absolutely.
And, you know, when there's this hotshot kid that comes in and thinks he's going to start taking over someone's camera position.
It's not happening.
That they've been operating for 30 years. You know, it's like that's a terrible way to approach the industry, because a lot of people talk. It's a big industry, but it's also very
small. Yeah. And you'll notice that once you get in and you start seeing some of the same people at different events, you start hearing some of the same chatter and that kind of thing. You start hearing some of the same names. But it's definitely a big world, but it's small at the same time. It's just like being in your hometown.
Yeah. All right. So to go a little bit along that, like, how would you tell someone to represent themselves? You know, they're a new person, they're coming in the industry. How do they represent themselves?
First thing you gotta do is show up. Like you gotta show up. Like that's the first thing you gotta do. You gotta show up. Like literally show up. Like a lot of people, and when I say show up, like if your call time is 8 o'clock, you showing up at 8 o'clock, that's not doing anything for me. If I'm the V3 or if I'm the ops coordinator or if I'm the ops producer, if you're showing up at 8 o'clock, that doesn't do anything for me because at 8 o'clock, I'm expecting you to be ready for work. And if you're strolling in at 8 o'clock with your backpack, just now getting your coffee, I'm already looking at you like, shit, he already behind the power curve. It's gonna take him 30, 40 minutes to get started. So I ain't even, okay, let me go ahead and move on past him. And that's the way I think now. Like when I show up as the V3 for these crews and I get local utilities, I'm watching to see, okay, if our call time is at 8 o'clock, who's getting there at 7:30? Who's getting there at 7:45? Okay, when they get there, who's ready to work at 8 o'clock or who already knows kind of the layout and who's ready to start performing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was always told if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you might as well not come.
Exactly, dude.
I'm always there early.
I can 100% attest to you saying that because you and I are like very similar positions in the industry. And I am like the lead V3 field V3 for Monday Night Countdown.
Right.
That's the studio show that follows the Monday Night Football show around. And so I have a lot of power in who comes on the show as a utility.
Right.
And I have a lot of power in what they do on the show. Because I kind of position everyone what they do. And boom, first thing in the morning, I'm watching who's on time and who looks like they know what they're doing.
Who like they want it, dog. Who like they want it. Like, again, with your story and my story, this game is all about wanting it. All about, like, what you put into it is what you get out of it. And you can tell who actually wants it. You can tell who want to do this. And when people show up and they want to do it, I don't mind teaching them. I don't mind showing them how to read fiber levels. I don't mind showing them how to patch. I don't mind showing them, you know, why we do things certain ways. It's because you want the information. The information is there and it's free. If you want it, I don't mind giving it to you. But a lot of people are like, man, I'm a utility. They only paying me such and such, so I ain't going to do much. Okay? But there's somebody else out there who thinking, man, if I get one shot, man, I'm a rocket, and that person is gonna get more of the jobs, you know.
100%, man. Dude, Kelton is on it today, fucking on it.
Dog, I told you I wasn't coming in here to play. I was gonna come in here and give you the real, dog.
There's a reason why I wanted you as my first guest. I mean, dude, just the universe has a way of making things happen. You know, the fact that you live in Dallas, this opportunity with Trevor happened in Dallas.
Thanks.
I live in Dallas. You know, it was just like too many things were coming together where I was like, I cannot pass up this opportunity.
Right, and man, I appreciate like you having me on this platform and even inviting me to do this, dog. You know, I've been checking with you since day one, since way back when we had Sports with No Fans. I didn't know it was gonna be this big, dog. I just like, hey, I saw the vision. Like, okay, he got a vision and he's actually putting forth the effort to believe in his vision. So if that's my dog, if that's my partner, I'm gonna support him.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guys, man. I don't know if you mind, but shout out to the Hitman, man. Shout out to Chris, MG, Cinco, man. Shout out to the guys, man.
Yeah, 100%. So, what is your favorite part about the job?
I'm a sports fan, dog. Like, I'm a sports junkie. Like, my TV is always on ESPN. So, for me, actually being there and then seeing it on TV or, like, knowing that I'm in millions of people's living rooms every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have people call me to talk about, man, you see Stephen A on First Take, this, that, and that. Did you see that football game? This, that? And I'm like, yeah, I saw it, but my vantage point was different. You know what I'm saying? But it's always love to like soak that in and hear people talk to me and tell me about it because it makes me feel good and knowing that they enjoyed the broadcast and I had something to do with that, whether they knew it or whether they didn't know it. Just the fact that they're able to say, man, that was a good game on TV, man. I saw this, that, and the third. You know, so it's rewarding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you mentioned Stephen A.
Yeah.
You and Stephen A are boys.
It's my guy. Yeah. I love that guy. Love that guy.
You work a lot of First Take, right?
I do a lot of the studio shows, man. Shout out to the guy, man. Appreciate you, boss, man.
So what's it like working with Stephen A. and then go into like kind of how you would tell someone how to react around either celebrities or athletes or talent?
At the end of the day, man, they're people. They're human beings. You know what I mean? And they're doing a job, and that's how they make their living. Just like when I show up, whatever my role or my capacity is, that's my job, and that's what I'm there to do. So I try my best not to. I mean, I'm a fan of their work, of course. I'm a fan of Stephen A's work, but I try not to be too much of a fan to seem overbearing. I want to make sure that he knows I respect his work. I respect his journalism. I respect, how he takes the criticism on TV and how he deals with, his schedule bouncing around this, that, and the third. But I also make sure that I'm still me and I'm still a human being, right? I still make sure that hey, what's up, boss man? You need anything? Just keeping it a human element. Like at the end of the day, they're still human beings. They're regular people that just have a great job. He's good at what he does, and the network pays him well. He's on TV, so he's a great guy. I love him to death, man. If he ever called me and need anything, I'm gonna be right there to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've
go
seen
Cowboys.
I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand, man. Where literally Stephen A. picks you out of a crowd and it's like, "What's up, Kelton?"
Yeah,
like,
that's my guy, man.
He
That's
knows
my guy.
you, man. That's really cool, and that takes a lot of time and to earn the respect of someone like that.
Yeah, man. Hard work. Hard work.
So if you are listening here, don't feel like you're gonna just go up and buddy with talent right away.
No, it's not.
It takes years of just earning their respect and them learning who you are.
Right. It's just like with anybody you meet, man. You don't meet somebody and y'all become best friends. Like when you meet somebody, you have to learn you learn who they are. You learn their tendencies. You learn whatever capacity that you deal with them in, you learn who they are in that capacity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And once the familiarity gets there, as time goes on, like it becomes a little bit closer. You start to talk a little bit more, have a little bit more deeper in-depth conversations, and then one thing turns into another, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. So staying on like the first take topic, I've seen you. Some people, say this, that, and the other about it, but I've seen you kind of come to work on show days dressed a little bit nicer than others. Can you take me through kind of why you do it? And
there's a story behind it.
There is. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
There's a story behind it. So, matter of fact, the same NBA Finals we were at.
Okay.
I had worked a couple of different first take events before that, but the NBA Finals was a big one for me. And like I said, Stephen A. He's somebody who I try to talk to for advice when I can and that type of deal. So I was just talking about where I was in the industry, where I was thinking about going, and he said something that stuck with me. He's like, dress for the job you want, not the job that you have.
Yeah.
And I took that, and it was like, okay, when I show up on the days that I got, like when I show up on the set days and I know I'm gonna be down and gritty, getting dirty, then I have to dress for that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I show up on show days, I show up on show days, and that's become my thing. So everybody kind of is looking forward to me showing up on show days. I mean, I'm not wearing a suit and tie, but I'm showing up, looking the part. I'm not showing up just in some, dungaree pants and a regular old shirt. I'm putting on some nice pants, some comfortable, nice shoes, a nice button-up shirt, maybe a little slight jacket, but just, I'm looking the part. I want somebody to look at me and not be able to tell whether he's a utility or whether he's one of the producers or something from the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I take pride in that.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's your thing. Not everyone does it, but you pull it off and you do it, and there's nothing wrong with it, honestly. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting the job done. Yeah. And if you're in those nice clothes, you're still gonna work your ass off.
I'm gonna work my ass off, and I don't mind getting dirty.
Everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're still gonna,
No, it's just a thing to make it your own. Just like you found your lane with doing the Sports with No Fans, doing the BTB.
Yeah.
That was just one of the things that I felt like, maybe nobody else was doing it, but it didn't matter if anybody else was doing it. It was something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Somebody told me to something and it stuck with me. So now I feel like me being me, I can step out and I can do that on my own. And I made it my own. Yeah. So now I'm looking forward to show days. All right, I'm about to step out. I'm about to put on the steppers, I make it a big deal now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'm always ready. But like, it's just, again, what can we tell somebody else, man? Get in this thing and make it your own. Figure out your lane. Figure out something that you can be memorable about. And just like, I would never think that somebody paying attention to me, and here you are talking about, man, I see you dressed up every day at work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm doing something right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so let's play a little game here.
Oh, man, here we go. I knew it was coming, man. I'm ready. Let's see what we got. All right.
So you hold that hat.
Right.
I'm gonna pick something out of the hat.
All right.
You don't look at what it is.
Oh man, here we go.
I'm gonna show it. This is a pretty easy one, but you can see it at home what it is.
I can't see it, y'all.
All right, so you're gonna just ask me questions.
Okay.
Let's say 8 questions.
Questions.
The idea of this is we get this segment sponsored by someone.
Okay.
So
okay.
Maybe 8 beer if you're listening.
Okay, 8 beer.
This could be 8 questions by 8 beer. Ad sponsor here. And so you start out person, place, or thing.
Okay.
I'll give you the beginning,
Okay.
and it's a person.
Okay, it's a person.
And it all relates to the industry.
Industry. Okay, person. Are they network specific?
Network specific, yes.
Is it the E or is it the other one?
What?
Fox. Is it E? Fox?
Oh, I mean, they work in TV.
They work in TV.
Yeah.
And they're on air?
They are not on air.
They are not on air. Is it a position or an actual person?
It's a position.
It's a position.
How many questions is that? 3 or 4?
That's 3 or 4. Okay, so it's a position. Is it in the truck?
In the truck.
It's in the truck. Is it? It's in the truck. It's in the truck. First bench or second bench?
First bench.
First bench. Left or right?
Like middle, I guess.
Director?
Yeah,
or,
director.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's do 2 more of those. That was
let's
fun.
do 2 more of those. All right, let's see. Let's see what he got for me. I think I'm pretty good at this. I'm 1 for 1, baby. I'll drink to that. Oh, you want me to pick one?
No.
Oh, you want me to hold the leg? Go
hold
ahead.
it,
Pick you one.
hold
Let's
it
see.
back. Because I know them. I drew them. I wrote them up, so it's not really fair. Oh, all right. This is a
Person, place, a thing.
So this is another person.
Okay. Is it a position or is it a actual person?
Yeah, it's a position.
Does the position include a number?
No. No, good question.
In or out of the truck?
Out of the truck. Oh, shit, I didn't tell. Shit.
Out of the truck.
Close your eyes. I didn't show what was.
Oh,
what it
show the world. So it's out of the truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't contain a number.
Yep.
Does he handle cable?
He does.
Okay. Does he handle cable before, during, or after the game?
Mostly before, but all of the above.
Mostly before. Was that 4? Does he work hand in hand with anybody else?
Yes, he works hand in hand with like everyone, really.
Ooh. Works hand in hand with everyone outside of the truck. Not a number. Fiber tech?
Yes. Oh, that's good.
I'm a student of the game.
All right.
I'm a student of the game.
One more.
Hold
Hold
that.
that.
One more. Let's go.
It's pretty good, Kelton.
Hey,
Not bad, man. Not bad.
Asking the right questions, baby.
All right.
Let's see what you got for me. Oh.
Did you see it?
No.
All
I
right.
ain't seen that.
All right. It is a thing.
It is a thing. Is it used inside the stadium or outside of the stadium?
Inside the stadium.
Inside of the stadium. So that means it's either one of a few things. Do you use it both on the field and off the field?
Yeah, that's a hard question. You use it.
On the field and off the field?
Yeah, you use it. Yeah, it can be on the field or off the field.
Okay. So that would mean it has to be either a.
It's 3 questions.
So you can use it. I'm trying to think of what can you use on the field. Is it used by audio or video?
I guess more video.
So that means it's either cable, camera, lens, monitor. If I had to pick any one of those, does whatever this is have a number on it?
Yeah.
It's a lens.
It's a lens.
Yeah,
Camera lens. Everybody, 5 questions. 5 questions.
It's a lens, man. It's a lens.
Nice job, Kelton.
Bro,
Damn.
And now, like, so I'm a big picture thinker. So whenever when I ask, is it used on the field or off the field?
Yeah.
That way I can cut down like everything extra. I know it's either cable, I know it's a camera, I know it's a lens, I know it's a microphone, something like that.
Process of elimination.
Process of elimination. Yeah.
That's what we do.
Bro, and then
That's a perfect game for you.
we fix stuff, dog. Like, we figure out problems, and we have to figure out of the box ways to fix something. Like, hey, I want a Marshall camera in the tunnel, and there's no JBT box for 25 sections, and we only have 150 feet of cable. Figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's what we do.
We problem solve. We troubleshoot because every time, 100% of the time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Not
there
100%.
is, it never goes to plan. You always have to, ops or whoever, they come to you, they tell you something that they want done, and they say it's going to be done this way, and you go to it, and you go, it ain't going to work like that.
And you might get 90% of the stuff that way. Like, you might have a great day where 90% of the stuff goes exactly like it is in the survey.
Yeah.
You get to one of the most trivial things, and it becomes the most complicated because, they didn't think that we were going to need power for this little PTZ camera.
And that
power is 100 feet that way. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. Like, you got to be able to change with times. You got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to think on your feet, which is why I love the job so much.
And exactly why too. Me too. Because I've done camera work and fiber tech and utility and all these different things, but people ask me, why do you keep coming back to fiber tech? Why do you keep coming back to V3? I say, because it's a challenge every time. There's something new to figure out. It's a puzzle.
Absolutely.
And my ADD ass,
that's me too.
Cannot sit at a camera for 4 hours at a time.
Bro,
it's too monotonous.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I decided that I want to jump in the camera world, right? So my director for XFL decided to give me a chance. And he was like, man, I'm going to give you the reverse 50 camera, which was the coach's ISO camera.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to the cameramen who do this for a living, dog, because there's no way I could do y'all job. Dog, that was the most boring shit I have ever done in television. Was for 4 quarters follow a coach with a it wasn't boring, dog. It's hard and it's monotonous. I'm not looking for any big plays. All I have to do is roll the focus a little bit, maybe zoom out a little bit, maybe zoom in. Nothing major. I'm watching the coach all game. I got a major respect for the people that do that because I'm not a linear thinker. I got to be able to do 2 or 3 things, and watching the coach like this all game was, bro, I was on that bit falling asleep.
Yeah, I've done golf, I've done football, I've done basketball.
Yeah.
If I'm on camera,
I want to be a handheld operator. Yeah, absolutely.
Put me on handheld.
Let me run up and down the field. Let me lay on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me do all that.
Kelton, you and I we're a lot alike.
Yes, absolutely.
We're a ton alike. All right. So, again, this podcast is our first episode, and we're trying to get some sponsorships. We're coming up with new ideas.
Absolutely.
So, this next segment is going to be a equipment review.
Okay.
So, these great people at Behind the Broadcast.
Absolutely. Shout out to Behind the Broadcast.
They sent me their BTB tool.
Oh, they sent you their BTB tool. Okay,
so
cool.
Here's the BTB tool. It came in this nice packaging.
Absolutely.
Looks very handmade.
Yeah. Right.
Already I'm opening it up, and it looks like it comes with a carabiner with
and a
a
little
bottle
clip
opener.
on it. Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool. Carabiner with bottle opener.
You definitely need that bottle. You definitely need that bottle opener. Anybody in TV, you know why you need that bottle opener.
That's right.
Lobby beers.
That's lobby beers, shower beers.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite things in this world.
Shower beers.
I wanted to call this podcast Shower Beers, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, that's dope.
All right. So here's the
tool itself.
I'm told that it is used for screwing on tripod plates and getting into panels on the field, I/O panels. You know anything about that?
I have this tool, and
you have this tool.
I clipped the tool on my backpack. It's a funny story, man. I was around when Parker first was gonna make these tools. You remember that, buddy?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need one of those. Pretty dope, man. And like you said, it opens the I/O panels at any stadium. I've used it to cut the straps on when they send stuff packaged down. I use it to cut the straps, dog.
Oh yeah, I just
go right down.
Sometimes
TSA don't take this from me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, that's one of the best parts about it.
It's definitely a good tool to have, man. I don't know if anybody out there has it, but I definitely have one, and I keep it with me. So
I'm a little birdie told me that there's over 1,500 of these tools out there in the world.
Hey,
right now.
man, and shout out to the 1,500 people who got one, man. Because if you have one, you know exactly what I say about like it's definitely a tool to have.
Yeah, thank you for the support.
Yeah.
So it's got this stainless steel frame so that it doesn't rust. It comes in this rubber coating. So it's just, it's easy to hold. It fits in your hand well. It's not going to scratch anything or mark anything up. and it just clips on your backpack, your belt loop. It's just a great thing to have, and it's
anybody that's ever worked in TV, you worked in any type of stadium, you use it.
Do you know who Jack Coffee is?
Yes, I do know who Jack Coffee is.
For those that don't know who Jack Coffee is, Jack Coffee, don't be mad that I'm throwing your name out there right now. But Jack Coffee, I gave this to him for Christmas. And he said, Parker, this is the greatest Christmas gift I've received.
Right.
He said, I've been walking around Levi Stadium all day long trying to get these I/O panels on my tech survey, and I haven't been able to. So he's like, this is the best thing. And it's
small. You can keep it anywhere. It's incognito.
I said, Mr. Coffee, Merry Christmas.
Right, absolutely. So, shout out to Jack, man.
Shout out to Jack. So yeah, man, this is the BTV tool. Great thing. If you don't know where you can find it, or if you don't know where to find it, you can go to behindthebroadcast.com, and it's featured right there on the page. You can't miss it.
It's definitely worth to have, man. If you work in television, man, it's definitely worth having. Absolutely. Yep. I agree 1,000%.
All right, that was awesome. That was a great
product review, baby.
Let's see what else we got on the schedule. Let's see what we're on time. I don't even know how to find that. Is there an AD anywhere that tells us on time?
We're 2:47 right now.
2:47.
We're running good.
What does that mean? 2:47? Oh, wait, like how long have we been on it? Like, how long is the
47.
running?
45 minutes.
Oh,
okay, we're good. Yeah, we got good.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I thought we
He was trying to rush me out of here, y'all. He didn't want to talk to me.
I thought we were going
hurry up and
long.
get me out of here.
Hey, that's perfect, man. Shoot. All right. So, another segment.
Oh man, here we go. I love it.
All right. So, you and I, we both started as utilities.
Right.
Our hands are on cables all the time. Over under. That's the only way to wrap cable.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to give you a couple things. And the segment is called Run It or Wrap It.
Okay.
Sponsored by
Yes, sir, sponsor here.
Thank you for the sponsorship. So run it or wrap it is the segment.
Okay.
And either you can run with it or wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. So handheld operators that sprint.
Ooh. So I'm gonna say run with it because I like a challenge. Actually, my first game running behind the handheld. Anybody that's worked in the game, they know Action Jackson. And
I know Action Jackson.
That's who I work with behind. My first time being number one on the handheld, I worked behind Jackson. So I got the trial by fire. So I'm gonna say run it. I wouldn't recommend anybody else try and run it, but I would definitely run it.
Bro, that's hilarious. One of my very first ever times
was Jackson.
Holy
Action
crap.
Jackson, man. That man will get in a full. Let me stretch. Let me get myself together. Before the thing, calisthenics and everything. So he about business. Knee pads, tights, belt.
He did it all,
bro. Yeah, he ready to go, and he gonna run.
And he did a little bit more than all.
Yeah. But shout out to Jackson, man. Jackson always got good stuff going, man. Appreciate you, Jackson.
Great dude. He invited me over to his house one night for dinner. Just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list, lefty coilers.
Rapid. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as a lefty coiling. You can only coil cable one way. Over, under, one way. If you don't know how to use your if you don't know how to use your right hand, please let somebody else do. Please look. Bro, that is one of my pet peeves, dog.
Man, me too.
I would rap, dog. No shout out to my left-handed people, man. No disrespect, but golly, wrap the cable right.
Dude, I work hand in hand with this guy named Tony Avila.
Okay.
You know Tony.
Yeah, I know Tony. Shout out, big dog.
Dude, and him and I are both obviously righty rappers, and man, whenever we see a lefty rapper, we're like, lefty rapper. We're like, because we know, but at the end of the day, we got to rewrap
the whole thing, man. There's nothing against the people who are left-handed rapping, but please, for the rest of us in TV, learn how to rap with your right hand, please.
Please, yeah. And if you don't know how to rap, I've got a couple Instagram posts on the Behind the Broadcast page. And I'm gonna be start doing tutorials.
I was gonna say we need to do a step-by-step on how to coil.
You have any Dallas games coming up on the schedule, NBA?
NBA on the 24th. We're there, yes sir. I already knew.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
We're going to do
Let's do it.
A tutorial.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
you'll be doing it.
Of course. So I can show y'all I'm the best in the business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's awesome. All right.
But rap that shit.
Wrap that shit. Nope. Wrap that shit up. And throw it in the belly bag.
Let the next crew deal with
Yep,
shit.
exactly.
No. That's not real. I'm just talking.
All right. Local utilities trying to help you.
I'm going to run it. Dog, we need local utilities. You know what I'm saying? I started off as a local utility, so I ain't ever just going to shit on the local utilities, dog. But I will say this, like, if you are a local utility, you watching this, you listening, just take it serious. Like, don't take it as just, this is a one-time game. I ain't got to really do shit. Like, take the shit serious. Yeah. It could work out for you. I took a couple games seriously, and this feed my family. You know what I'm saying? I don't have another job. This is my job. TV is my job. That's what I do for a living. You know what I mean? And it started because, I took rapping cable seriously. So I'm going to say run it, man, but y'all don't make me regret I said this shit.
No, don't regret saying that. But at the same time, too, be there to help.
Absolutely.
But don't
overdo it.
Overdo it.
Yeah,
Don't. There's. I kind of asked that question because it's a pet peeve of mine when I'm doing a job or something, and then someone just comes and tries to do.
Try to take the job.
And I'm like, dude, I've been doing this. Yeah. This is my 14th week of doing this show. I think I know where I want my cables.
And I've used all the same equipment.
Exactly.
No, I think with TV, because it's such a broad spectrum, I think everybody is trying to like break in and figure out their break. And a lot of times they jump in with the mindset of, hey, if I do everything, something will hit. And that's not always the case. Like sometimes you have to like just be patient and just get in there and just do the job and just work and it'll pan out. But that's definitely a good point, man.
All right. That's not. I don't know why I wrote that.
Why not? Ask it.
I wrote. All right. Well, I'll ask you anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Going to work on. Oh, I remember why it came up because, this question came up because we're like, dang, we're going into work today so early. Mm-hmm. We faxed everything. We were on air yesterday. Mm-hmm. Why do we have to be to work 6 hours before? So run it or wrap it, going into work 6 hours before rather than 3 hours before.
So when you go into work 6 hours before, like there's a lot of troubleshooting that goes on. There's a lot of things that goes into putting the game on television. And one of the main things is you having connectivity between yourself and wherever your studio is. For us, it's always Bristol, Charlotte, LA, something like that. Sure. So, and that takes time. And then you have a number of different shows being put on television. So there's certain transmission times, there's certain, like everything has an order and the time frames, and then just having to put things in order prior to and not waiting until the last minute. So with that 6 hours ahead of time, most of the time it comes with doing your transmission, making sure you have clear lines, making sure your satellite stuff is up so that you can actually broadcast on TV and that kind of deal. So
and not for nothing, man. Mm-hmm. The boogeymen come out at night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The little fiber trolls and all those different,
the
little
broken barrels, the SMPTE that was testing wonderful when you first plugged it in, and now 5 minutes before game time it shit the bed.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. So I remember someone asked me that, and what you just said and what I just said, that was my answer. Is like, a lot of things can happen overnight.
Right, absolutely.
And so it is important to go in 6 hours.
And then just because something worked yesterday, that don't mean it worked today. That's just like a person. Just because I felt good about shooting basketball yesterday, today my feet might be hurting, and I don't feel like shooting basketball. So you just gotta get there ahead of time, and then you want to get there in enough time to where you're not scrambling trying to fix shit right before it's time for you to go on air. But when it's time for you to go on air, you can attest to how serious things are. So you want shit to be in place before you go on air.
The worst thing you can do, or the worst thing that can happen is they're ready to go on air and you're not.
And you're not ready. Yeah, absolutely.
That is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we'll run it with going into work 6 hours before.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is a hot topic, especially relating to behind the broadcast.
Okay.
Being on your phone at work.
Ooh, so that's a big one. And especially when you're on the field, whenever we doing the safety meetings, like before college football games or whatever, I always try to tell people, get your pictures in before the game. Because once the game starts, there's 1,000 1,000 moving parts. There's players running up and down the sidelines. There's photogs running up and down the sideline. Depending on what type of game you're doing, there may be a TV cart running up and down the sidelines. You have players that are, you have the specialty guys that are deep snapping. You got the kickers that are practicing all in the area in which you're supposed to work, and being on your phone can be a distraction. Also, you're on the sidelines. You got 200-pound football players that are playing the game, and you're 7 or 8 feet from the sideline. Anything can happen. You're on your phone, somebody come off, boom, they smash you. And now this 250-pound kid running a 4.3 done ran into you with full pads, and there you sitting on with a sweatsuit on.
Yeah.
Who gonna win?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I always tell people, like, get it done before or after the game, but during the game, man, it's a hazard, man. Please don't do it.
That is some great advice right there. It is a hazard. You're not protecting yourself,
right?
And you're also not protecting the ones
the one
around
that you're working with. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, either the athlete, the people you're working around,
the camera guy,
or yourself. Exactly.
Yeah,
so, my big thing is, like you said, get your photos or whatever before. But when you're in the game and you have a job to do
that job. Absolutely.
Do that job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. And your job don't involve taking pictures on your phone or being on your phone.
Exactly.
So I ain't gonna say that I always don't do it, but don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. No, don't do it. All right, man. Well, shoot, that is our last sponsored segment.
Oh man, I thought we had one more.
No, that's it, man. So, we do have one more.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, we do have one more.
I thought so.
That we do have one more, and we're probably getting there on time. So, this next segment is called This or That.
Okay.
And in this segment, I'm going to give you a choice between this or that, and you just kind of tell me, this or that.
Absolutely. Let's see what we got.
So, This or That, sponsored by. Thank you for sponsoring us. We love using your technology, and we hope to get some money from you.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is called This or That.
Okay.
All right. Undertime or overtime?
Ooh. I'm going to say overtime. The reason why I say overtime, because you always want to make more money. But then you could also say undertime, because if you're scheduled to be there for 10 hours, you can get it done in 4 hours. Why not? But I'm going to say overtime, because the longer I stay, the more they pay.
That is a true testament to who you are, Kelton.
The longer I stay, the more they pay.
I love money.
Absolutely.
And I work a lot. There's not many people that work as much as you and myself, and there's a handful of others out there that do what we do.
Absolutely.
But
I do it for a check.
To me, especially when I'm working the U.S. Open and I'm working 38 days and straight, the only thing better than overtime is undertime.
Yeah.
So
undertime is good, man. If you can get a few hours of undertime, it's cool.
Yeah,
but
not
at
every
the same
day.
time, I'm not. If I get undertime, I'm okay. But I'm not going to work like, damn, I hope I get under. Nah. If we get undertime, cool. If we don't, I want that overtime.
Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly.
I want that overtime.
All right. This or that. Do you prefer travel work days or just travel days?
Straight travel days.
Straight travel.
Don't try to cheat me. Don't try to cheat me and put my travel and work. Nah, give me a full travel day. I can get to the city early, eat me some lunch, get to the room, relax, you know what I'm saying, and get ready for the next day. Don't force me to get to the city and work on the same day.
100%. All right, this or that. Healthy crafty table or unhealthy crafty table?
Give me the unhealthy crafty
you Dallas
table.
People, man.
You can keep the kind bars. Give me the Gushers. You can keep the granola bars. Give me the Starburst and Uncrustables. Yellow Gatorade. Beef jerky. All that good stuff, man. Y'all can keep the healthy stuff, man.
Yeah, see, I go the other way on that one, obviously.
No. I'm sorry.
I think your body and my body is a little different, and
bro, we about the same size.
I stick with the kind bars, and maybe I do like to cheat a little and get a Snickers a couple times a day.
I'm talking about the Cheetos. I'm talking about the peanut butter crackers. Man, come on, the Nutter Butters. Hey, if you ever on my show, please make sure you have Gushers and Nutter Butters. Please.
Gushers and Nutter Butters. You heard that first. All right. Last one. Coiling power, over under or over?
See, if I wasn't a true TV professional, I would say core power over under. But I am a person who knows the right way to core power is not over under. But it depends on your truck guy, really. If you got 250 feet of cable, they want it to go a certain way. If you got 75 feet of cable, they want it to go. I'm gonna over under.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna over under.
Okay. Great answer. Great answer. Because I have the exact same opinion. Where I actually got in a heated argument with my friend Pearson over this because he's a completely cinematographer. Yeah. You know, works on commercials.
Right. And they overpower.
They overpower everywhere. Yeah. And so he saw me over-undering, and I explained to him just like you just explained. I said, dude, I don't think there's really a wrong way to do it. Right. You know, it's
all about preference.
It's all about preference and whose cable it is. Right. And in this instance, I can over-under faster than I can over. And it just feels better to me, so I'm going to over-under. But yeah, a lot of people will say over.
And then some of those truck guys that are over, they're the same guys that want you to figure eight it once it gets together. I'm like, if I'm gonna figure eight it, shouldn't I just go ahead and over? Okay, whatever. I don't get paid for that. I just get paid to do it, so I do it.
Exactly.
That's dope.
All right, Kelton, we're coming to the end of our show, man. Is there any other things you want to say? Shout out to the family, friends.
Hey, man, big shout out, man. Big shout out to you, first of all, man, for having me, dog. I told you I believed in the vision a long time ago. We saw it a long time ago. It's amazing to see where it is now, man. So shout out to you and the network for sure. Shout out for the guys for having us here, man. That's a big deal. My guys, the Hitman, man. I always say what's up to the Hitman. Shout out to Big Chris, MG. 5 Cinco, family, of course, man. And if you're ever out there in TV and you want to break into TV, dog, just know it's not easy. It's not something that you're going to be able to get into and make $1 million off of the first day. It's going to take a lot of hard work, and just know that the work pays off. If you do it, you end up like Parker or myself, and steady going up. So we're here.
We here, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kelton, for being
brother.
the first guest on the first ever Behind the Broadcast podcast.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned, and we'll have more of these rolling out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's go.